Welcome back, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer, so now let's talk silver. The situation with Elon Musk and silver is very interesting and can get a little conspiratorial. I've covered lots of Reddit articles of people trying to figure out if when he talks about gold, is he really talking about silver, or times he's hinted towards it even on podcasts. There's been a lot. He even recently bought a silver mine. Well, I was covering an article yesterday, and they talked about Musk following Wallstreetsilver. I had no idea that this was a thing. If this is true, then this is massive. Remember, a couple of years ago, Elon Musk tweeted out 4 letters on his Twitter, DOGE, standing for Dogecoin, and as soon as he sent that out, he sent Dogecoin skyrocketing thousands of percent from his influence. Elon Musk won't want people to buy silver for that reason exactly. If people found out he's buying silver, that would shoot silver's price up, and his cost of production for every single company he's the CEO of would shoot through the roof. Mike Maloney sent him a personal letter on Twitter, and this is what it says: buy physical silver. Mike Maloney just did a big interview praising his Tesla, and all of a sudden Elon Musk publicly thanked Mike. So Mike sent an open letter to Elon urging him to buy physical silver, stating, "You said that Tesla plans to sell 20 million EVs by the year 2030. The company produced 430,400 units over the past 4 quarters. So that would be 19,569,600 more vehicles within 9 years. Each EV uses up to 50 grams of silver, which totals to 978.4 million grams. In other words, if you reach your 2030 sales goal, Tesla will need to up to 31.45 million ounces of silver per year. The cost at $25 is $786.25 million, but the cost at $50 is $1.57 billion, and at $100 is a whopping $3.145 billion, and that's just your automobile business. Remember, he also owns SpaceX and Solar City, which solar panels and space equipment heavily uses silver. That is something that I'm sure Elon is aware of. I mean, look, he's following Wallstreetsilver, if this is true. Can someone fact check? It says on Twitter. I want you guys to dig into this, especially if you are on Wallstreetsilver, even the subreddit, if you could see if because I mean, this is a huge conspiracy. I've went down some massive rabbit holes. If you've ever watched my video, I've gone through several different, and I'm talking about several different subreddits, several different forums of people trying to break this down, trying to figure out the truth. As you can see, I've talked about this a lot. This isn't, these are spread out. I mean, I'm talking about this since February 15, 2021. So he is the perfect example of what the industry, big tech, we're talking about the industrial side, is going to be facing over the next 10, 20 years as we try to go green. Elon's just a perfect example because he owns all these companies. But imagine Apple, imagine Samsung, imagine all these other car companies. I mean, every single automobile company by the year 2030 is going to be electric. If Elon, and by the way, this is the biggest point. Elon just bought a silver mine. Elon bought a silver mine. That speaks for itself. And that's what David Morgan, when David Morgan also sent a letter to Elon Musk, was telling him, if you don't have a direct source to silver, you're screwed. Imagine paying premiums. It's already so hard to acquire silver as it is. For someone like Elon, needing boatloads of it, literally, what would he do? Cut down the production of Tesla, put a halt? That's something that nobody is looking at, and when they do look at it, it's going to be too late. So let's check out this article. The Elon Musk effect has also reached silver. Rumors have been circulating for some time showing that Tesla and SpaceX are desperate for silver. For example, Elon Musk announced in May 2022 that Tesla would be interested in the mining industry if producing its own stock would accelerate the energy transition. Musk also briefly flirted with Glencore for a 10-20% stake in the Swiss mining company, confirming that the multi-billionaire's interest. Musk has started following Wallstreetsilver on Twitter, an online community that played a major role during the 2021 silver squeeze. I mean, a major role, like they were the ones that started it. So it goes into Houston, we have a problem. EV, solar panels, our electricity network, servers, and more. Everything that encompasses the energy transition contains a common metal, namely silver. right? People talk about cobalt or lithium mining. Those play a huge part in like cell phones and some things, but nobody talks about silver. Have you ever seen that? Like I'm watching like Joe Rogan talks about cobalt mining a lot and talks about lithium, how we don't have enough, or that the slave labor that goes into this stuff is ridiculous. Nobody ever talks about silver. They even say lithium ion batteries, but they won't even say the word silver before it. They won't say silver lithium ion batteries, which that's another huge use for silver. They say all these other things. They'll talk about copper, they'll talk about iron, they'll talk about everything, but nobody ever mentions the S word, which is silver, which is the most important one. And they'll talk about a shortage of like copper or something, but they'll never mention silver. It's so interesting, which is the main one. And this is people like Joe Rogan, or if I'm listening to a podcast with someone else, they'll always talk about these other metals. Have you noticed that as well? Let me know. Silver is also an important, or actually we didn't finish this up here. So it's talking about silver being in everything, which is one of the best thermal conductors. I mean, it's the most highly conductive metal for thermal conductivity, electricity, and light sensitivity. Silver is therefore a crucial metal that would enable the energy transition. We are now at a turning point where companies active in this clean energy sector seem to be taking matters into their own hands because there is insufficient available physical silver, which hinders production. Not only silver, but also lithium, nickel, and cobalt are becoming scarcer by the day, especially if they put health restrictions or labor laws on cobalt mining. If you've ever seen the movie Cobalt Blue or seen cobalt mines, it is these people are working, even kids, little kids, for like pennies a day, like 16 cents a day in terrible working conditions. It is disgusting. And it's sickening, but what are we going to do? And then if you think about how this situation is only going to be rising tenfold and needing more of this stuff, it's a big problem. So now not only Tesla is burdening by this problem, almost all companies that have to initiate the energy transition are desperately looking for external solutions to overcome the silver shortage quickly. This is what I've been talking about for years. Talking about this for years. All these companies, I've been saying this for years. You want to know the quote that I've been saying for years? Producers turn into the consumers, and the consumers turn into the producers. The people like you and I that want this silver will be selling it to the people that need this silver. We don't need it. We just want it, but they need it. If you want the newest, latest iPhone, you better hope that they want it or buy it, no matter what the price is. I've been saying this for years, right? All this I knew would be coming into play eventually. I knew this would be coming into play eventually, and now it's finally here. I'm not trying to say I told you so. I'm just trying to say that this was something that was blatantly obvious that nobody just really looked into besides me and a handful of other people. So those who have sufficient supply at their disposal can produce faster than their competition and thus produce lower manufacturing price, thereby gaining market share with the sector. So this next part is titled The Elon Musk Effect, which is the title of this entire article. So I'm sure this is a very important topic we will break down. So let's jump into it. The richest man on earth with a fortune of $340 billion until recently has seen his wealth shrink by more than 60% in a year. And that's because the share of Tesla has fallen sharply in value. Despite this, Musk still has a net worth of $137 billion, so buying a silver mine shouldn't be a problem for the controversial tech tycoon. And not only Tesla falling sharply in value, but he also bought Twitter for $44 billion, which is a third of his entire net worth. I mean, that's a really good point. But it's still, I'm sure he could easily still acquire a silver mine, which is a good point that they mentioned. But if silver rises in price, like Mike Maloney mentioned in that article, in that tweet to him, if silver rises to $100, I mean, think about the cost of production for a Tesla. So if Musk is serious about Tesla's continuity, he will have to secure his silver supply, the need of which will explode as demand for the EV sector grows. The Tesla boss has no choice but to go straight for the source. The announcement of Musk's acquisition of silver mine will push silver prices up with the same force as lithium recently. and that's why he's probably on the hush hush about it. I mean, that's not probably why, that is why. And if you look at some of the conspiracy subreddits I've been mentioning, or that I've shown in the past, I'm not going to try to dig them up right now. It took a while to dig up all the information. If you haven't seen my other videos on Elon Musk, I have made some huge ones. This one isn't going into all that. I just wanted to talk about how I just realized, or just found out, that Elon is following Wallstreetsilver on Twitter and what that would mean. But they do bring up some other points, especially the recent information of him acquiring a silver mine and what that would do. That would definitely be a very smart move. And since he is a genius, well, some say he is, he's definitely a businessman. He definitely knows what he's talking, or he definitely knows what he's doing. It's not like he's oblivious of silver, especially if he's following Wallstreetsilver, which is a point, as if he knows silver's undervalued aspect and how it will grow eventually and why he needs so much of it, then he's definitely acquiring a lot of it, just not mentioning it publicly like he did with gold and Bitcoin, right? He talked about gold itself, but why would he want gold? Gold doesn't benefit him at all. Silver would. So when he says gold, I'm sure he means silver, right? So anyways, yeah, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? I'm genuinely curious. I have my thoughts on it. You guys know I'm extremely interested in it, not for Elon Musk himself, but because you guys know I talk about the silver shortage, and then when we start to bring this, or translate this into the real world moving forwards with these businesses, then I'm just trying to get a grasp on if they are also aware yet, and what this means for them moving forwards. Investing in silver means benefiting from the energy transition. While the movement towards an electrified future is already gaining momentum, it will be much slower than some of the optimistic projections in the current market. Hundreds of millions more silver ounces would need to be produced to keep up with the expected linear magnitude of the industry's growth. The impact of solar growth on silver as a result of the green revolution is significant. Solar energy went from almost no use of silver to about 120 million ounces in 25 years ago, and that's per year, and it will continue to grow, claims the energy agency IEA. For example, solar energy will continue to grow exponentially, even if the market succeeds in recycling significantly more silver from discarded panels. There will still be a shortage, and that's what I've talked about. Recycling won't even put a dent in the silver shortage, and I'm glad that other people, we're talking about even someone from the energy agency. These aren't silver stackers. This isn't someone that's in the silver world. This is just someone from the energy agency talking about silver's critical role, right? And that's how you know it's serious, when people that aren't even on our side are mentioning the severity of it, and they're talking about silver, not just lithium or copper. So recycling will slow the growth rate of new silver industry needs, but it will not slow the growth rate of the total silver used in the industry. While silver is in EV electronics, there are other limitations to the green revolution, like that our world doesn't have enough clean energy to power the vehicles. Our electricity networks are also not stable enough, and there is not enough silver, lithium, nickel, cobalt, or manganese. So I recently discussed with an experienced mining investor about the fact that there is not enough capital in the mining industry, and it is precisely the mining industry that has to extract these increasingly scarce metals from the Earth's crust. For example, in recent months, we have seen a huge increase in share issues from miners to ensure that there is enough money in cash. This interest and element is very important here, because there are now many companies that are financed with leverage in or variable loans. And this is currently a problem given the still high interest rates, and this is detrimental to mining. This could cause the shortage to increase even further. That is a very good point. The 120 million ounces of silver used in solar energy today accounts for only 2% of our electricity grid that is powered by solar energy. Several governments around the world will soon mandate 10 to even 20% of the wind and solar energy. Let's assume that the use of silver and solar energy increases fivefold over a period of time. That means solar energy would use 500 million ounces, and for the record, total demand is currently 1 billion ounces and growing. And this year we had record-breaking supply deficits as well. So anyone thinking that the silver shortage is a myth or that we're exaggerating, you are extremely, extremely wrong. You're probably just uneducated, and if you have done your homework, you just got the answers wrong or didn't look deep enough into it because the numbers add up, the numbers don't lie, and this is obvious. And Elon Musk is one of those people that are going to have the hardest time with this whole mess, but him acquiring a silver mine would definitely be a big brain move, as we could call it. So yeah, anyways, I thought this was pretty interesting. What do you think? Do you think that Elon Musk following Wallstreetsilver means a lot? I think that is huge. I think that is massive, actually. I think that is very important to take note of, and I hope you guys understand how important that is as well, because him acknowledging silver directly it speaks for itself. So anyways, yeah, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Thanks for tuning in. If you liked the video, please like the video. Make sure you subscribe. I post daily videos. Thanks for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.